Open it.
One of the most asked questions in movies centers on Quentin Tarantino's Pulp Fiction. What is in that briefcase? We never see inside the briefcase that Jules and Vincent fetch from Marcellus Wallace, but we witness that the contents give off a golden glow, which feels magical, almost holy. And we know from people's reactions that it's something spectacular.
We happy? Yeah, we happy.
The mystique of the briefcase grows because we don't get to see what's in it.
What is it?
We only see how it moves the characters.
It's beautiful.
God damn it, what is it?
So let's take a look at some of the most interesting theories about what's literally in the case and why ultimately what's in the case for you may have a very personal, subjective answer.
Before we go on, we want to tell you a little bit about this video's sponsor. Mubi is a curated film streaming service with a twist. You get 30 films per month, a new film every day. And these films are a hand-picked selection of influential movie gems from around the world. We're huge fans of Mubi at Screen Prism, so go ahead and click the link in our description below to get a full month of Mubi for free.
What's in the case?
My boss's dirty laundry.
There's a popular fan theory that the case contains Marcellus's soul, which he sold to the devil.
It ain't nobody else's business.
The case's combination is 666, a number associated with Satan. Marcellus has a band-aid on the back of his neck, leading some people to think that this is where his soul was removed from his body. So according to this theory, the young men in the apartment are the devil's cronies, and Jules and Vincent are there to get Marcellus's soul back from them. After the fourth guy comes out of the bathroom and unsuccessfully tries to kill Jules and Vincent, Jules says,
This was divine intervention.
so it's like because the young men were on the devil's side, God has intervened and protected Jules and Vincent.
God came down from heaven and stopped these motherfucking bullets.
But it's been reported that the reason Marcellus had a band-aid was practical, to cover the actor's real-life scar. And the film doesn't draw an overt connection between the band-aid and the briefcase. So as fun as this theory is, it doesn't have much evidence to back it up. More broadly, the case does seem associated with religious redemption. In the scene where Jules and Vincent go get the briefcase, Jules recites what he says is a verse from Ezekiel.
Ezekiel 25:17. Blessed is he who in the name of charity and goodwill shepherds the weak through the valley of darkness, for he is truly his brother's keeper.
But this isn't exactly a completely accurate recitation of Ezekiel 25:17. It's partly made up and partly taken from the 1970s movie The Bodyguard.
Blessed is he who in the name of charity and goodwill shepherds the weak through the valley of darkness.
He's quoting a corrupted version of the Bible and using that as a justification to kill. So that tells us something about the less than righteous state of Jules' soul when we meet him.
Motherfucker do that shit to me, he better paralyze my ass, cause I kill him, motherfucker. You know what I'm saying?
But then he has his divine intervention epiphany while he happens to be getting this briefcase. And everything changes. He wants to retire from violence.
You serious? You really thinking about quitting?
The life?
Yeah.
Most definitely.
Later, in the last scene, when Ringo and Yolanda try to rob the diner, Jules repeats the altered Ezekiel verse from earlier.
The path of the righteous man is beset on all sides by the inequities of the selfish and the tyranny of evil men.
But this time, he ends it not by killing, but by sparing the couple.
But I'm trying, Ringo. I'm trying real hard to be the shepherd.
Meanwhile, in this scene, Ringo himself gets so captivated by what's in the case that Jules is able to disarm him. So it's like the case holds the answer to both Jules and Ringo's redemptions. And by the end, it seems like both of them will try to leave their lives of crime behind.
Go.
The briefcase is a classic MacGuffin, a device that drives the plot forward, but ultimately isn't all that important in itself. A MacGuffin can be replaced by any other object, and it wouldn't change the story. Some people believe that the briefcase is an homage to another famous MacGuffin in film history, the case full of glowing nuclear material in the 1955 film Kiss Me Deadly. This sounds plausible because Tarantino is such a cinephile who loves making illusions. But Tarantino has actually said that this similarity was unintentional, even though he had seen the film. And there's a notable difference between the two cases. In Kiss Me Deadly, people are scared of the case's contents, while in Pulp Fiction, they're mesmerized by what they see. We're never even told what the MacGuffin actually is, so it's very explicitly a placeholder whose contents can be anything. It's as if Tarantino's boldly declaring that he's placing this MacGuffin in his movie without even making any pretense that the specifics matter. And that in itself is a play on cinematic narrative, just as the rest of the film plays with movie structure, by telling its vignettes out of chronological order. Tarantino has a way of interconnecting his movies. So one theory is that the briefcase contains Elvis's gold suit from True Romance, a movie that Tarantino also co-wrote with Roger Avary. Other fans believe the case holds the diamonds from Tarantino's first feature, Reservoir Dogs.
I got the diamonds.
Avary has said that initially the briefcase was supposed to be full of diamonds, though not specifically the ones from Reservoir Dogs. But Avary said, quote, "It was decided that the contents of the briefcase were never to be seen. This way, each audience member would fill in the blank with their own ultimate contents." John Travolta echoed this when he said that Tarantino told him to look into the briefcase and, quote, "be completely impressed, like something you've never seen before." The unexplained briefcase fits into the movie's overall style of not giving us all of the answers.
What do you make of all this?
Pulp Fiction arguably remains such a classic because it doesn't explain itself.
The truth is, nobody knows why Marsalis threw Tony out of that 4-story window except Marsalis and Tony.
Random or coincidental things just seem to happen throughout the film. By not specifying or explaining, Tarantino's giving us an absence so we can fill in the briefcase ourselves. And the deeper meaning of this may be that whatever moves Jules to give up crime is different from what moves Ringo. Maybe what's in the case is different for everybody. It reflects each person's individual dreams, the thing they find too beautiful for words. Whatever inspires us to suddenly take our lives in a new direction is indescribably personal and intimate, unable to be seen by anyone else. By keeping our focus on characters' reactions and not letting us peek inside the case ourselves, Pulp Fiction is reminding us that we all have that capacity to be inspired and enlightened. But the specific thing that might do that for us down the line is still a mystery to us right now.
I can keep it secret if you can.
Samuel L. Jackson said that on set, the case contained, quote, 2 lights and some batteries, but that when Tarantino was asked what's in the case, the director answered, "Whatever you want it to be." So the whole point of the briefcase is that we fill it up with our own imaginations and desires. We're forced to think about what would have to be in the case to leave us this mesmerized. As you watch, you have the space to consider, what is most beautiful to you? Ask yourself, what would be in your briefcase?
First, I'm gonna deliver this case to Marcellus. Then, basically, I'm just gonna walk the earth.
Hi guys, this is Susanna. I'm really happy to be talking about Mubi today because I've actually been a subscriber for years. I love this streaming service. Mubi is a treasure trove of films that you won't discover anywhere else. They curate exceptional movies from around the globe, and every day a new film is added and the oldest is taken away. So in this world where it's very easy to spend hours debating what you should watch and feel overwhelmed by all the choice, Mubi is like having a really cool friend with amazing taste in movies, making it so much easier for you. They feature hard-to-come-by masterpieces, indie festival darlings, influential art house and foreign films, lesser-known films by your favorite famous directors, and more. Plus, you can even download the films to watch offline, and there are no ads ever. One film you can watch right now on Mubi is The Producers, one of Mel Brooks' funniest films ever, which inspired the Broadway smash. It's about two guys who decide they can make more money putting on a flop, so they set out to produce the worst play possible. Point is, I can't recommend it highly enough. You can try Mubi out right now for free for a whole month. Just click the link in the description below.